Hi there, greetings agents of change. Yes, I believe you guys, we are becoming agent of change. We've been talking about this topic and it's such a crucial topic, and I believe that from the last week episode when we took some time to reflect and go back and see which areas in our lives we should become agent of change. We did that, and we are actually implementing steps to become an agent of change. To become an agent of change is so important because, like we've been saying, change is constant. Change is something that doesn't change. It's there. Talk about things that are never going to change, or permanent things is change. Even the Bible says that in Ecclesiastes chapter number 3 verse 1, to everything there is a time, to everything there's a season, for every activity under the heaven. So basically this means that God himself is promising us that change is permanent. Change is something that happens. Change is something that we cannot avoid. So you may even think you are avoiding it, but it happens. You may think you are saying it, but it happens, So I hope that you actually took time last week to do some self-introspection and see which season you are in, or which season you are transitioning to, the season that you are in your life. The thing about season is that season can be either physical or mental or even emotional or even spiritual, or it can even happen in our society. We are currently in a season right now, if I may put it like this, of coronavirus. The coronavirus is around, is affecting everyone. The whole or the entire world is being affected by the coronavirus. So it's a season that has taken place. Seasons are actually change. It's basically change that is not a short-term change, if I may put it like that, but it goes for a certain kind of period and then comes to an end. The season basically comes and replaces the environment, the whole condition of the environment with another environment. Take it for example, when it's summer, everything is changed, and then we start getting heat. So we get heat a lot, like summer, in summer, and in other areas when it's winter, the whole entire environment is replaced by maybe, for example, snow or cold. It starts to be freezing. So that's the thing about seasons. They replace the whole entire environment or situation or condition. And God has promised, as I shared on Ecclesiastes chapter number 3 verse 1, that for everything is a time, and for every activity it's a season. There's a season under heaven. So I've been promising to talk about the kind of changes that we should look to be agent of change in. And I believe that, again, I want to say, as you practice these insights and principles that I've been sharing, hope that you can apply them first into your life. And as you apply them into your life, obviously they're going to help you change your life and take control of your life. And then before you know it, you'll be influencing your own environment, which may be your family, your work area, and which can even extend to your whole community. There is no limit actually in becoming an agent of change, and I believe each and everyone, we have this potential to become an agent of change. In fact, for us to really truly say we are living purposefully, we need to be able to take control of the change that is happening around us. So we experience 4 kinds of change. Basically, I talked about this before. There is change that happens to us and there is change that happens around us. There is change that happens within us, and then there is change that we initiate. This is the kind of change that I've been trying to encourage us to learn to do, to initiate change. Change happens in 4 ways. I'm going to repeat that again. There is change that happens to us, which may be change that has been initiated by other people, and then there's change that happens around us, which is something that we don't have control of that happens, and then there's change that happens within us, and then there's change that you initiate. Change that happens to us actually usually normally affects our life and families or even work or careers, and change that happens around us, they normally affect our nations and our society, if I may put it like that. Like the coronavirus has affected our nation, has affected the whole entire world, the whole entire globe. So this is change that has happened around us, but it ends up affecting us personally or impacting us personally as well. And then when we talk about change that happens within us, we are talking about the kind of change that happens that affects our physical, maybe health, maybe emotional state, mental state, even spiritual. And then again, I'm going to say this is one of the important changes I like us to focus on, which can help us even all these other changes happen, is the change that we initiate. The change that we initiate by planning, by making sure that even the changes, the other changes that happen, we take control of them and we initiate change, and then we do not react but we respond. Like, I'm gonna say that again, we should not react but should respond. Normally what happens is that people, when change happens, they respond, they react, which means sometimes they have a negative attitude toward change. Their reaction, it may be fear, it may be anger or anxiety. Now the coronavirus is actually just a very big example that is here with us. It happened because it happened. No one was prepared about it, but some people were responding, and there been a lot of negativity happening, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety taking place. But there are those that are actually being calm, that are actually taking action against the change, or taking action to control the situation. So those people are not really reacting, but they are responding to change. It's important to not react, because when you react, you give that kind of change that is happening an advantage over you, and it makes you a victim of that of the change that is happening. So you become a victim of the circumstance if you are reacting. But rather, when you respond, you become the person who we call an agent of change. Also, do not deny that change is happening, because when someone denies on change, you just want to continue as if things are normal as they are. I shared the last time that there are relationships that even change, and then people don't want them to change. They want things to stay the same. They want them to be normal, for things to continue as normal, with inverted commas, as normal. But change happens, and when it happens, don't deny and don't try to say let it be like it was in the good old days. In fact, the Bible says don't be saying the good days were good or the good days were better. It says that it's not from wisdom. So you have to understand that change is constant. Change happens. And for us to become agent of change, we need to embrace change. We need to have a positive attitude toward change. And change is not easy, but it's something that is there because it always introduces us to the next phase of our life. It always gives us that opportunity to learn or to show our potential on whatever things or on the new kind of environment and circumstance that we are facing. And so I want to say it's not good to think that life will always remain the same. Everything may be stable for now, but transition will always come. And so you have to expect it. So disappointment is something, it happens when someone thinks things will always remain the same. Disappointment and stress and anxiety, it happens when someone doesn't really have that kind of mentality of saying things are going to change, things may change. It happens when someone just wants things to go as always as they are. If things are good, they want them to be good forever. If things are bad, some people, they just live and they don't believe that anything good can happen. So they're now living in that state of depression, if I may put it like that, state of anxiety, because they don't expect change. They don't believe in change. So some people, they end up losing or sacrificing their lives to the past because, some experience that happened to their past. Now they hang on to it and they just go on thinking because of the experience of the past. They go on looking through life through those lenses, and now they lose opportunities to enjoy new things. Let's say they lose opportunities to enjoy a relationship maybe they have right now because somehow they were hurt in the past. They now close themselves and now they don't want to meet anybody new because of the things that happened in the past. But if you know everything in life is only for a season, and this has to be an individual revelation for each person, which is my prayer and my hope that as I keep sharing these insights, you're going to be seeing which area in your life needs improvement. So if you know everything in life is for a season, that will actually take out some of the shock out of life when you experience situations that otherwise will lead us to grief, disappointment, or fear. Yes, it's not easy. There are circumstances that happen that are not easy. But if we actually expect them or prepare them prior to them happening, prepare our minds, prepare our attitude toward them, we can actually reduce some shock, if I may put it like that, even face some grief or disappointment or even fear, as I've put. So no matter what the change you can experience, remember I talked about change. That's a change. There's a personal change. There's change that happens in our society. We see a lot of even religious change, political change, or even spiritual change. We should not pretend that change is not happening, because pretending that those changes are not happening have no effect. Change happens anyhow, as I've been saying, and as I will keep saying, so that you can understand why it's important, so that you initiate change. So we need to understand and accept change as part of reality and actually commit to fulfilling any kind of a role that it demands from us. Because when change comes our way, it actually comes to demand a new way or new mindset or new way to deal with those kind of situations. So the only way to move forward in any kind of situation when change or a crisis happen is to actually be an agent of change, initiate the change that you desire, and also address unwanted change constructively, positively. Remember, we've been talking about that we are looking to bring positive change in our society, in fact, in our life first. So, initiate change, positive change, and the kind of change that is actually happening around you or even within you. You need to now deal with it constructively first, in a positive way, so that you can actually start initiating change and not react to the change that is happening. So here's what I actually want us to do. Look at change in a good way. Change is our friend. Let's just write it somewhere. Just write, change is our friend. Change is your friend. Change is not your enemy. We should see change as an arrival of opportunity, actually, rather than an invasion of destruction or disappointment or fear or whatever kind of change is happening. Change is our friend, and change should be seen as an opportunity rather than an invasion of destruction. So when change occurs, we should seek to understand the value of both the present role that you have and the past role that you played, because every time when change comes, it challenges you where you are. The problem is that we actually look to operate from the past rather than the present. So it challenges both these areas, the past and the present. And therefore, it's important we do not react, because whenever we react, we are becoming victims. But if we respond, we are not becoming victims, rather we are becoming victors. We are becoming victorious over the situation. We'll find solutions. We'll find ways to deal with those change that are happening. Knowing how to respond rather than to react actually gives you peace. Gives you peace no matter what the change, no matter what happens, the happening is, the situation that will be happening. It gives you peace during the change that you can actually experience. So responding rather than reacting to change actually also enables you to grow stronger into your next phase of life, into your next season. It helps you to grow. Remember, if we run away from change or if we react negatively to change, we are not going to grow. We're not going to progress. So whether the kind of experience that you're experiencing right now is emotional or it's mentally, know that if you are actually reacting to it, you're not going to find peace. You're not going to find the next level that you are supposed to go through. Rather than you're going to get stuck in it, you're going to want things to remain the same. Remember, we should not want things to remain the same. In fact, the Bible, I'm going to say this again, the Bible says it's not from wisdom when you want things to be as they were in the past. It's not from wisdom. Things must go through season. There are things that are supposed to phase out. Things that are supposed to end, and then there are things that are supposed to be born. As Ecclesiastes chapter number 3 talks about, there's a time for everything under heaven. So if you are to fully engage and live purposefully, fully engage and live a full life, if I may put it like this, then you must not ignore the truth about the future. You must not ignore the truth about change. Don't be a person who actually thinks things are going to be the same forever. The future holds one or two options for you. It's either you're going to be responding effectively to the change it's going to be bringing, or you're going to be a victim and want things to remain the same. So you have the power actually to determine right now the kind of quality or the life, if I may put it like that you're going to be living when change comes away. You have the power to determine how you're going to react. That's the thing about even the life of faith. It's that God does not dictate actually how we make the decision that we make. He gives us the power to choose, the will to choose. So put it in the back of your mind, or try to get this through your mind, that when it comes to things changing rapidly, or circumstances coming upon you, you have the power to make the decision to not react, but to respond effectively. And the effectiveness of your response to change lies on this knowledge that or on this insight that we are busy discussing here, busy sharing here, that we should actually expect change. If we can take anything away from today's episode, is this that please expect change to happen. Do not be a person who does not expect change to happen. Expect that things are gonna go through seasons. And remember, a season is not a short-term thing. A season has a certain kind of an extension or time. It goes from a certain time to a certain time, and it changes the whole environment. So please expect that there is gonna be change happening, but you have to be aware what kind of change is it. Is it a change that is happening personally into your life? Is it a change that is happening within? Is it a change that is initiated by you? So you have to be aware as well what kind of change is happening, and therefore you have to integrate or allow the change to come. Integrating yourself in the change that is happening, it doesn't mean that you are actually necessarily supporting it, if I may put it like that. You understand that it is a reality, and it is a position where you can move forward in life, and then you can move forward in life in the midst of it if you actually integrate yourself within the change. Remember, while integrating yourself within the change, you are not actually surrendering to the change, but you are responding to the change the way you want it to happen. If you are a person of faith, which I mostly believe, let's say you are listening to this right now, you are a person who believes that, as the Bible says, if you allow the process, or if you become part of the process that God is taking you through, no matter how rough or no matter how tough the change looks like, you should remember, as the word says in Romans 8 verse 28, all things work together for good for those who love God and for those who are called according to his purpose. As we are trying to live a purposeful life, as we are trying to live and fulfill our purpose in this journey and this life, we should always remember that change comes. Change is good, and when change comes, it comes to bring us into the next season of our life. It comes to bring us into the next area of our life. It comes to give us a new perspective, if I might put it like that. We should not fight change, but we should understand that change is coming to show us a new thing or a new place in our life. It's important to prepare and plan for change, because if you prepare and plan for change, you're not gonna be surprised because you understand that you understand how you're gonna integrate yourself into change. And in fact, when you are a person who plans and prepare, you understand that change is an integral part of life. Which brings me to the topic that I wish to discuss again next week: the power of understanding plan, or the power of planning and change. We all should actually be people who plan. See, planning is not for those people who you think, this person is so organized, they plan, and then you say, I'm not a planning person, I'm not the kind of a person who puts plan. In fact, we take after God, and the Bible tells us that God says, I have plans for you. We should learn to plan. We should learn to prepare and plan as well. I'm gonna give you some tips next week how to actually start initiating the kind of lifestyle where we actually plan and prepare ourselves. It starts by ourselves. Remember, as I've been saying, it should start within us. So there are things that we should develop within us, which are gonna help us or safeguard us to live throughout the change, or to become agents of change, as this is our desire. So for us to live effectively or to live purposefully, we have to become agent of change. We have to understand that change is constant. Change is part of life. Change will happen either way. And when change happens, we should not respond. We should not react, but rather we should respond. So I hope that as you are taking this away from today's show, please take this away as a takeaway that change is going to happen either way. So expect change to happen. I think I'm sounding like a broken record, which is repeating the same old thing because for the whole month from January to February, even now, we are just keep saying the same thing. And we're saying the same thing or something similar so that it can sink into our minds, and then we can accept it, and then we can move on to the next phase. Because, life, to live life effectively or purposefully, there are principles that we are supposed to be grabbing and applying daily in our lives. And becoming an agent of change is one of them. Becoming an agent of change is one of those steps that are going to help us live purposefully. So today's takeaway is simple: expect change, embrace change. Change is our friend, it's not our enemy. Change is our friend, and it's not our enemy. In fact, God has told us that change is going to happen, and He has established seasons and times. So let's embrace that, and the sooner we learn to embrace that, the easier we're going to be able to actually move on to the next phase of our lives, which is to plan and also prepare. And basically, the Bible does tell us that we should actually commit plans to God and have them committed to God, and God will establish them. But we're going to get to those again next week. So please do yourself a favor and also go through all our other programs or our other shows. We have on Monday to Sunday, remember, which is on Thursday. We are bringing you Living a Victorious Life with Mr. Author and Spume. They had a great show last week. Do make sure to go and check it out. We have on Tuesdays Empowerment Talk Show. Nokolo, she's been busy talking about something similar to what we were talking about. She talked about living out of your comfort zone, actually, this week. I hope you're gonna enjoy that show very much. Just go through those shows. Monday we had a very, very inspiring show. Nompilo Kumete had this wonderful couple that she interviewed, ending off the month of love, even here on the first week of March. So make sure that you go and check out that show, and look forward to also Pioneers of Greatness on Friday, Youthful and Eventful on Saturday, and Soulful Talks on Sundays. So we are here to empower you and equip you and also inspire you from every day of the week. And so please also follow us on our social media platforms. We are available on Facebook as Empowerment Podcast, and there's a Facebook group called #Empowerment Podcast. You can join the group. Also invite your friends to join those group. It's a group that we actually looking for it to function as a place where ideas can be shared and people can help others to become better. And as always, if you want to give us feedback or you want to send through some voice notes for any show, you can do that. You can do it first on the platform where you are listening to us from. Where if you are listening to us from Spotify, for example, there's a session where you can actually send through voice notes or whatever your platform is. If you don't find those platform or that section that's to send voice notes in, you can WhatsApp us on this number. The number is 065 615 6641. The number is 065 615 6641, and we'll play those voice notes on our shows and get people engaging on any kind of topic that you may suggest or wish us to talk about. So until next time, remember, change is your friend and not your enemy. Accept change and have a new mindset of change. Let's become agent of change. Let's become initiators of positive change, especially in the time that we are living in. We need positive change. We need to cultivate this mindset of accepting change and integrating ourselves within the change. Like, even if the change is tough, we can integrate ourselves in the change and start to influence it positively. So we're going to come back again this week and continue on this beautiful topic. Cheers.